last 24 hours, 4 people have been killed in Portland. 2 were stabbed, the other 2 were shot. You're looking at a tweet from Mayor Ted Wheeler. It reads in part, "I send my deepest condolences to the loved ones left in the wake of that violence." Thanks for joining us for KGW News at 5. I'm Christelle Kumwe. Alma McCarty will be joining us shortly with details on the victims who were stabbed. But first, let's talk about the city's most recent shootings. Last night, a victim was shot in the Hazelwood neighborhood. That person has since died in the hospital. Officials say the suspect in this case was arrested and faces multiple charges, including murder and possession of a firearm. Tonight, detectives are investigating another shooting. This one happened in the Wilkes neighborhood around 1:30 overnight. Authorities say that person died on the scene.
The truth is, when they all happen in such a short period of time, it compounds. The impact compounds all of us here in the community. I think any of us that live here, that work here, that love Portland, this is unacceptable. This is not the Portland that we want or know.
Now, 2 separate stabbings claimed the lives of 2 people in Old Town Friday. The first happened around 11:30 in the morning. The second at 8:30 that night. Now, Portland police arrested both suspects, charging them with murder. Alma McCarty has been covering the story for us since last night. And Alma, today you learned more about the second suspect.
That's right, Christelle. PPB said 20-year-old Khalil Ford was booked into the Multnomah County Detention Center earlier this morning, but court documents show it's not the first time he's been arrested this week. Those documents revealing Ford was arrested Wednesday in connection with the brutal assault of a woman in the Pearl District. He was released a day later.
Within just 9 hours, 2 people were stabbed to death in Old Town in 2 separate cases. Portland police arrested and charged 50-year-old Dorian Cannon for the first murder, which happened before noon around West Burnside and Northwest 3rd Avenue.
Noteworthy thing is this happened in broad daylight. It was right in the middle of the day, right at 11:30, right before lunch.
Later, officers responded to yet another deadly stabbing around 8:30 at night near Northwest Broadway and Cooch. They detained and then arrested the suspect, 20-year-old Khalil Ford. KGW learned both suspects in these murders were also arrested for crimes earlier this week. Cannon, who is homeless and has a history of prior charges, was charged for misdemeanor disorderly conduct. Ford, who has no felony record, was arrested for 4th-degree assault, also a misdemeanor charge. Court documents show PPB responded to that call on September 28th. The officer found the victim with a bloody face and head on the ground on Northwest 14th Avenue, her walker broken. The victim told police she'd been assaulted, punched in the head, and hit with a broom handle. Ford allegedly told detectives, "She made me assault her." He pled not guilty and was released of his own recognizance the next day, which means that no bail was required. Following the deadly stabbings, the Old Town community is grappling with this latest bout of violence.
I think the statistics show, right, that the Old Town community has changed. This didn't used to be a part of our daily or weekly experience.
Scott Kerman, executive director of Blanchet House, said news of these attacks is especially difficult for those they serve daily.
We know that being unhoused is in and of itself traumatizing. So they are re-traumatized every day. You wake up and you're cold, maybe you're wet, you're not really sure what's going to happen that day. They have community with one another. They have connections with us, our volunteers and our staff and our peers, and they just want a peaceful meal. And they just want to live their life without fear of being attacked.
Now, at this time, we do not know the names of the victims in either case. We will be sure to update you on these cases as we learn more. Christelle?
Thanks, Alma. We also have an update tonight for you on a deadly hit and run from earlier this week in Salem. Authorities have now identified the suspect's car, a dark blue 1998 Chevy truck. Salem police say the 66-year-old victim was hit Wednesday morning in Northeast Salem. She was taken to the hospital but died the next day. If you have any information about the driver of this truck, you're asked to contact Salem police.
that this is a massive storm that really had massive water dumped all over the state, the interior of the state, all the way out to the east coast of Florida.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis held a press conference today on the recovery efforts after Hurricane Ian. DeSantis says help is on the way, but floodwaters and power outages are complicating those efforts. At last check, at least 77 people have died in the state. The local American Red Cross now has 37 volunteers in or on their way to Florida to help in the aftermath of Hurricane Ian. But they say they need more help in several ways. Now, Tim Gordon has what you can do to get involved.
As a powerful Category 4 hurricane, Ian wreaked havoc on Florida. 150-mile-per-hour winds and historic storm surges have taken lives and left tens of thousands homeless. People from all over the country are there to help, including from the American Red Cross.
Our volunteers are definitely busy. Red Cross has over 700 volunteers there right now responding, nearly 40 just from the Cascades region.
Don Johnson with the American Red Cross Cascades region shared images with us of some of your neighbors on the ground in Florida, setting up shelter, moving food and supplies, and helping families, kittens included.
We got some pictures back from one of the shelters in Florida where they had brought in a litter of kittens, a family did, and they had set up a little pet area in one of the shelters there to care for those kittens.
Help in the wake of Ian. The Red Cross had 120,000 people in Florida shelters Thursday night and is already stretched thin by other natural disasters.
So it's really a good time right now for us to reach out to the public and try to build up our ranks and our disaster volunteer force.
To that end, the local Red Cross is holding several volunteer deployment information sessions. They're designed to be a first step for new would-be volunteers to get to know the process. It doesn't guarantee you'll be on your way immediately as a volunteer to Florida. But with early damage estimates already over $100 billion, the recovery from Ian will take a long time. And if volunteering is not for you, maybe giving blood is.
We have actually just here in Oregon, we've sent 200 to 300 units to Florida of blood. So we do need people to come in and donate blood as well.
Tim Gordon, KGW News.
You can also help by making a financial contribution to the American Red Cross, and we've made it easy for you. Just grab your phone and scan the QR code on your screen right now to donate, and we have more information on our website of ways to help in the recovery effort in Florida.
Well, yeah, we have the latest on the winds from what was Hurricane Ian. They definitely have died down. Now it's post-tropical storm Ian, and we're starting to see winds right around 25 miles an hour over long parts of the D.C. area. Here's a map that kind of shows what's left of it, but basically what's left of just a path of destruction, especially through parts of Fort Myers and the southwest side of Florida. Rainfall has been pretty intense, though, through parts of the east side of Ohio and moving north into the D.C., New York City area. But here locally, we are looking at another stretch of sunny and warm conditions. I tell you what, it's October 1st. We should be seeing highs on average in the low 70s. Yeah, we went well above that this afternoon, and that's going to be the trend over the next couple of days. From the coast to the valley, we saw some very warm weather to start off the month of October. Sitting at 82 degrees right now over in Newport, and some locations along the coast actually saw record-breaking temperatures. That was the case over in Astoria. The previous record was 78. Well, earlier this afternoon in Astoria, you topped out at 82 degrees. Right now in Cannon Beach, just south of Seaside, we're looking at temperatures right around the low 80s. As we go throughout the rest of your evening, we'll be seeing our temperatures cool off a little bit, but you'll notice by early tomorrow morning, we'll be waking up to temperatures right around the mid to the upper 50s. A very nice start to your Sunday morning, along with the warm conditions for today. It's going to be carrying over into tomorrow and beyond. I'll talk more about that in detail, but you can kind of see heading into tomorrow afternoon, you'll be looking at some very warm conditions. Of course, it was a beautiful start to October, staying sunny and warm the next 7 days, and highs around basically 80 to 85 degrees from today all the way into the first part of next weekend. And there's a slight chance to see some raindrops by Tuesday morning, but they're going to be relatively light if they produce anything. And here's a live look of what we're seeing inland. Temperature of 84 degrees. We saw a daytime high of 85 earlier this afternoon, and right now we're looking at temperatures in the upper 70s to low 80s. And Christelle, this is something you would typically see for August, for the early part of October. This is kind of wild, but the last 2 months we've seen record-breaking temperatures, or record-breaking month in terms of warmness. That was the case in August and last month, and yeah, all signs are pointing to that direction again heading into the first week of October. I'll talk more about that in detail in just a few minutes.